Hello and welcome back to another video, and today we are here on MotoGP 21 once again, but we are doing something a little bit different. Today I'm bringing you the first round of a new league that I'm in. If you've been subscribed for a while, you'll probably remember the league from last year, RRacing. It's the same people again this year, but this time actually it's a MotoGP league. And before we do get into this first round, I will quickly explain how it's going to go down. So there's a race once a week. So I'll be doing the videos for it once a week. And this is the calendar that you can see on screen right now. So we've got Qatar, Motegi, Jerez, Le Mans, Mugello, Catalonia, Assen, Laguna Seca, Sachsenring, Donington, Brno, Austin, Misano, Portimao, Phillip Island, Sepang, and then as always, the finale in Valencia. So this first round is going to be Qatar, and there is a lot of fast riders in this league, so it's going to be very, very difficult to get a decent position, but hopefully you guys do enjoy this race. It is post-commentated, of course, can't really live commentate a league race because I've got to concentrate, so that'll be a bit of a different style there, but without any further ado, let's get into qualifying and see how I got on. So qualifying was actually a bit of a mess for me. I really struggled to get a clean lap in. You'll probably see just some clips of me making mistakes in the background at this point. And on one of my laps I also came across a slow rider as well and actually crashed into him and fell off because of that. So yeah, qualifying I really struggled. You can see my lap times are sort of like high 51s, 52s, and really I could actually get into the 50s if I did a really good lap in all my practice. So I was really far off the pace, which was not too good. But I'll show you my best lap in its entirety. There is still a couple of mistakes in that lap though, so the lap time unfortunately is not too good. So in the end, my fastest lap was actually the very first lap I did, a 1 minute 51.622, but it was only good enough for 8th position, so we got a lot of work to do in the race because my target was ready to battle for 5th with the likes of Mystic and Seafire, as you can see there in 5th and 7th respectively. But actually Sven ended up on pole position ahead of Dill in 2nd, with Rishi in 3rd and Alan in 4th. Those are the top 4 guys, extremely fast, so it's going to be tough to keep up with them, so 5th place was definitely the best I was going to aim for here. But we'll head down to the grid now and see how the race went. So then, down here on the grid, and you can see that I've gone for the medium tyres, which is the recommended tyre for this circuit because the softs are just too soft, the hards you cannot get any temperature in. So that's the tyres I've gone with, and I forgot to mention it earlier, this is actually a massive league with lots of riders in. There's actually 17 riders in this race, so it really is a packed grid, as you can see here. But starting in 8th position, aiming for 5th, we've got to get a good start. It's got to be a good first lap here. So the lights are on, waiting for the lights to go here for the first race of the season. Lights out, and away we go. And you can see we've got a pretty average start. There's already been a crash. John Ninja got took up by a laggy bike. We've got past Rishi already as well, down towards the first corner, because Rishi's had a bad start. But on the inside, someone goes flying at the inside of the Tech 3. It is Bretty, and he completely wipes out Mystic Prune. I think he collected a couple of the riders in there as well. but that's promoted me straight up to 4th place. We're going to the inside into 3rd place of the KTM, but we've got to be a bit careful here because we have just seen what he has caused going down towards the first corner, so give him a little bit of room, a little bit of a touch there on the exit of turn 3, hitting the brakes for turn 4, and he actually gets a position, so we're up to 4th place from 8th. Pretty good start, but of course there was that little pile up at the first corner. I think Mystic Prune was the only crasher, but it did force Alan and Ryan on the Suzuki a little bit wide, but going down towards turn 6 and looking at the inside of Bretty, not quite being able to make it stick, and then you can see Rishi trying to stick his nose at the inside. Of course, my teammate for the season, an extremely fast rider, and he will not want to be stuck behind myself and Bretty, but once again, I've gone a little bit tight into turn 7, a bit wide. That's allowed Rishi straight through, and at this point I just decide to let Rishi go, and Alan actually takes advantage of that and sweeps around the outside up into 5th place. But here we go, looking for a move on Alan, but not quite able to pull it off. I think if it was a bit of a slower rider, I probably would have been able to get the job done there, but I knew Alan would be able to brake. Didn't want to take out a championship contender, so just eased off, especially it's the first race. It's the first lap of a long race, and there is actually bike retrieval on in here, so a crash is race over effectively. You lose 20-30 seconds, so it's even more imperative than normal to be clean and to not make mistakes and not crash. But a decent enough start, but we're back down to 6th place. We've only gained 2 positions, and obviously one of them was from the unfortunate Mystic Prune being rammed off, and the other one was Ryan. So overall, not the greatest first lap, but you know what, we've still got a long race, and Brighty is still battling with Rishi and Alan, which is going to slow them down. So at least while they're battling with another rider, I'm able to potentially keep up. Apologies if you can hear any building noise in the background, I can't really do anything about that. But up towards the line, let's see what this time is on the very first lap. 1 minute 58.7, only a couple of tenths behind, but up in front, Rishi's going for a move on Bretty, and there's a bit of contact again with Bretty as they go through the first corner. And that's put Rishi back down to 5th. Alan has sweeped up the inside once again, so Alan being very opportunistic here. And once again he goes up the inside, but Bretty has lost the front, gone a bit wide, completely lost the front there. So we're back up into 5th place, and now Rishi and Alan are just going to leave me for dust. You can see on the end of the second lap, I run a little bit wide through the penultimate turn, pick up my first track limits warning of the race. There is long laps on here as well, so you will get a long lap if you get too many penalties. But you can see Rishi is already over a second ahead of me. I'm about a second in front of the rider behind, so it looks like it's going to be a bit of a lonely race if it keeps up here. But up towards the line, what is the lap time at the end of this second lap? A 51.5, sorry, which is already better than my qualifying lap on the second lap of the race. So that's absolutely unbelievable. But cutting a few laps later now onto lap 4, you can see 3.5 seconds behind Rishi, 2 seconds in front of the rider behind. So really, it's going to look like it is going to be a bit of a boring race. But tipping into turn 13, a massive screen freeze. You can probably hear in the background as well, the audio has gone all out of sync. And you can see I got a warning there as well for going off the track. So I had to restart my recording, which cost me even more time because I had to do it on the straight. So now we're only a second in front of the rider behind, 5 seconds behind Rishi, starting lap 5. So any chance of catching up to Rishi is completely gone, and it's put Ryan right back behind me. But cutting on to lap 7 now, you can see we've been elevated to 4th position, and that is because there was a spate of disconnects on this lap. You'll see as we go through this corner, them all popping up on the screen, and unfortunately one of them was my teammate Rishi. So KG was kicked out of the lobby, Rishi was kicked out of the lobby, I think a couple of the riders were as well. Hegs was kicked out of the lobby. They're all just coming up one by one as we tip it into turn 6 now, and Dr. Monster also kicked out of the lobby. So that really reduced the number of riders in the race and promoted me up. But to be honest, that was about it for my race. There was not a lot else happening. You can see cutting onto lap 9, the start of lap 9 here, we are 4 seconds pretty much in front of the guy behind, 9 seconds behind Alan, actually back in the 51s on that lap as well, which is nice to see. And that was almost everything that happened in my race, to be honest. Really was quite boring because I was so far away from people until the penultimate lap of the race. Keep your eye on the top left hand side of the screen. You can see a crash for 2nd and 3rd position. That is Sven and Dill, and that was actually caused by Sven's controller having an issue, causing him to really quickly sort of stop accelerating. Dill couldn't avoid him and they both went down. Also, apologies if you can hear Discord noises in the background. We have to be in a call in these league races for stewarding decisions and things like that. And people were obviously typing in the chat in the background if they got disconnected. But that promoted me to 2nd after those two crashed, starting the final lap. And that's where I'm going to finish pretty much. There's no way I'm going to lose it from here, starting the final lap. We're 20 seconds behind the leader. But here we go, up towards the line. It's actually going to be 2nd place in the first race. A very lucky race, if I'm completely honest. I didn't have the pace for it. You can see on the right, well, you could see on the right hand side as through some of these clips, and my pace wasn't particularly fast, but it was just good enough. It was just good enough. I kept it on board, and I'll take 2nd place. It was a bit lucky, a couple of disconnects, a couple of crashes in front, but that's the thing with league racing. Sometimes the cookie crumbles that way. I've lost races through bad luck before, like the pit limiter glitch I got a few times last season. So yeah, a good start to the season, and let's have a look at the race results. So in the end then, Alan won the race ahead of obviously myself in 2nd position. Ryan ended up in 3rd position, obviously the guy that's chasing me for the majority of the race. Dill actually managed to remount after his crash with Sven and end up in 4th position. He was actually very, very close to getting the podium, only about a second in it, but he just missed out. I think if there was another lap, he would have got it. And that was actually the last of the people that finished within the 40-second timer. But in 5th place was C-Fire, 6th was Mystic Prune, so a pretty good ride from Mystic, to be honest, considering I got took out the first corner. Plague ended up in 7th, Jono Ninja in 8th, Blake JR in 9th. And then moving on to the next page, we've got Sven in 10th place. He wasn't actually able to get back on after the crash with Dylan. I think his bike got damaged. Even though the damage was on graphical, it seemed like he couldn't get back on his bike. And Apex was the last of the people still in the lobby. Obviously, there was actually quite a few people that disconnected. Obviously, we went through them earlier. I believe they're being awarded half points, but I'm not 100% sure with what's happening with that yet. I don't think it's fully decided. So I won't show any championship table here because, of course, it is just the same as the race results. But hopefully in the next episode, that'll all be resolved and we'll have a table to look at. But I hope you guys did enjoy that first race. It wasn't a great one from my point of view, but trust me, the rest of the races hopefully should be a little bit better. We just got quite lucky with picking off positions from crashes, and all the people that were around my pace got knocked off, basically. Obviously, Mystic got knocked off, and then I think Steve-Fire just didn't quite have the pace I expected him to have. So yeah, not the most entertaining race in the world from my point of view, but I hope you guys still enjoyed the video regardless. Let me know if you're looking forward to the rest of the races in this season. Obviously, like I said earlier on in the videos are going to be coming out once a week, so I hope you do look forward to that. But I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you're all staying safe, and I shall see you in the next one.